Hello, everyone. Together with Poradnia Internetowa, I would like to welcome you on today's webinar. And we are going to talk about mental health today. Why is it important? Why does it matter to take care of our mental health and focus on our well-being? I would also like to introduce a little bit more to you Poradnia Internetowa, the specialists we're working with and the approaches that we can provide you, and in what kind of topics and areas we can support your well-being. So that's what we will talk today about. My name is Monika Karwinska. I'm a psychologist and psychotherapist under certification. I work in Gestalt approach, and I also support business, employees, and managers in the area of their professional and personal development. So I will try to share my knowledge and experience with you today and encourage you to also take care of yourself and focus on your well-being and maybe make you more familiar and ready to make those first steps to reach out for any support you might need. So let's start. And let's start with Poradnia Internetowa. I will tell you a little bit more what we are doing and how we are doing it. So just, generally speaking, we're providing a complex support of good mental health for employees. This complex support is touching many different areas we can help you with. And I will tell you a bit more about the variety of specialists and of approaches we can provide and of topics we can help you with. But our common goal is always to take care of your good mental health. We'd like to always focus for you to have a well-being state that make you fulfilled, act efficiently, stay healthy in your mental, physical condition, and also have a good relationships with people. So all of that we will talk more today what our mental health is for us really important. So we're really committed to help you just be a better and more happy person. And we are supporting employees, but not only with work-related topics, because there is a variety of topics you might just want to contact us. It might be relationships, it might be your personal life, it might be your professional life. So we are addressing the needs that you have, and it does not have to be really related to work. And what we do. So first of all, we're a modern type of benefit for employees. We really adjusted to the needs of nowadays, and you might be working from a different place, and you might be able to contact us at very different time, might be evenings, mornings, weekends. So we are adjusting our services to your needs, and through our video consultation and psychotherapy online, you can basically contact the specialist at any place and any time that's convenient to you. So we are trying to also, reach out more broadly and provide the support that's really available to everyone. The professional support is provided by certified specialists, which means that if you're going to contact any psychotherapist, psychologist, coach, maybe dietitian from our website, you can be sure that we have a specific certification to provide those services. But also we have experience, and we are working with the specialists that are providing the support at a very high level and are acting according to the code of ethics. So it's important to remember that as a psychologist, we're all acting under the code of ethics. This is a special code for us, and we are always acting on the behalf of you as our client. So remember that that's the goal. And there are, of course, many aspects in code of ethics. I won't be able to tell you more today, but one of them is confidentiality, for example. So you can be sure that if you're sharing your experience, your difficult situations with us, this is a confidential information, and we're not going to share it with the employer, with your family, or with anyone else, even within our circle of people, because that's the most important, to keep it confidential. So that's what we do. And another thing you might bear in mind is that if you're going to contact a psychotherapist, we're also under the supervision, which means that the professional support provided by your therapist is also supported by more experience and a specially certified person that's called supervisor. And in case of any difficult topics or any issues, your therapist should also contact the supervisor and consult with them if they need help. And that's the only person that might be aware of the situation or problems you're sharing with your therapist. So you're really in a good hands, I would say, and you don't have to be afraid about who would know about your issues, but also you have to be sure that you're basically being taken care of, someone who is prepared for that, certified, and is acting in the right way. So you can look more about the specialists we're working with, and I'll tell you a bit more about this at the very end of our presentation as well. So starting with the topic of today, don't be afraid of the psychologists. We all have many thoughts in our mind, many myths, many maybe stereotypes about who is a psychologist, why we're going to the psychotherapist, who is going to the psychotherapist. And we might, just not feel like the right person going to reach out for help. So during today's webinar, I'd like to really tell you more about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And my hope is that you are not afraid of the psychologist anymore, if you are, but also why should we take care of our mental health? As you know, psychologists are taking care of our mental health, and we still forget why is it important. So we will also introduce this topic to you. And our goal is, first of all, to raise awareness about mental health. So what is the mental health? Why is it important again? The topic that's really common nowadays. To get familiar with various approaches which support our well-being, because we can support our well-being in many different ways you might not even think of. So let's get familiar with that as well. And then finally, to identify steps to prevent and support our mental health condition. Because not always we're aware that something is going on. We need to, first of all, understand what's going on, and maybe that's the right moment for us to focus on the prevention or on the treatment. So I will share some of the symptoms and early signs with you during this webinar as well. And of course, steps, what can be done to address it. But let's start with some facts. And unfortunately, I don't have many good facts and good numbers for you. We all know that we're after a year and a half of the pandemic, and most of us have adapted during the pandemic. Now we are acting more efficiently, effectively. We know what to do, how to deal with the situation. And you might be working from home now, maybe you're working from the office, or maybe in the hybrid way. So let's think that the situation is quite stable. You might think, why should I take care of my mental health? But when we actually looked at the statistics worldwide, since a couple of years, our mental health condition is getting worse worldwide. It doesn't matter if the pandemic was, there, or maybe has passed, or will be there with us for the next couple of years. This condition is still getting worse. And of course, it might impact us and our close ones. So when you looked at this numbers, actually, I think it's a bit even overwhelming, because around 20% of world's children and adolescents have a mental health condition. That means that they suffer from either depression and anxiety, maybe some addiction, abuse, or different, difficult situations that's impacting their life. And the statistics in Poland actually look even worse, because it's 8 million Poles that suffer at least from one type of mental health issue. So it's 23.4%. It's almost 1 in 4 people that have some kind of mental health issue. The neurotic disorders is a leading factor. So every 10th person is diagnosed with the neurotic disorders. So those are really big numbers. And when you think of it, and about 20 to 30% of Poles experience mood swings or chronic anxiety. When I'm thinking about mood swings, what I keep in mind is not the fact that maybe during the winter we are feeling, more low energy, but those are the mood swings, like are leading to depression and will impact your social life, your personal life. You might be not able to act under those mood swings in a, efficient, effective way. Or maybe you experience a chronic anxiety, so there is a constant fear that you have, especially now when the situation, for example, with the pandemic, with the financial situation, and what's going on, there with our health, might be another reason for you to feel more like an anxiety. So this will or might impact you or some of your close ones at work, in your family life, with your friends, circle of friends. So it's not the time to ignore this topic anymore, but I would rather say it's the time to really don't treat it as a taboo topic, but start to talk about it really openly. Share your experiences, share your knowledge, and be very careful and open to observe if there is anything going on within your surrounding. So let's just be very aware of those statistics, and let's keep in mind that maybe you don't know about that, but there might be someone close to you who might be going through the difficult time, or maybe it will impact you at some point of life, and you might need to basically reach out for help and know how to help yourself or a person that's close to you. So when we talk about our mental health well-being, sometimes it's a mental health, sometimes we're talking about well-being. It's two different expressions to call a very similar thing, but we're talking about 3 aspects of it. It's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So when you think about emotional well-being, it's the ability to feel, express, and manage a range of positive but also negative emotions. So I'm thinking not only happiness or fulfillment, but also a stress or maybe fear, the emotions that we all experience at some point of life. The person who has a good mental health state is able to deal with those situations. So even if you feel stress, we are at the stable level after a short period of time, and we can act effectively and manage with the situation effectively. It's also our psychological aspect, so the way we think, and it's the ability to really cope with and manage change and uncertainty. And when you look at nowadays, there's a lot of changes and uncertainty. We don't know when the pandemic will end. We don't know if we will have work in a couple of years, or maybe not. If our family, maybe our close ones, will be healthy or not. There are just too many uncertain things in life. So we need to be able to cope with that, basically. And this is also impacting our well-being. The ability to form and maintain good relationships with others. So this is again the social aspect of that. How we build relationships with people. Are those close relationships? Are we feeling stable? Are we feeling open? Are we feeling safe with those relations? Or do we have some difficulties with building it? So important aspect of our well-being. And then finally, it's the ability to learn. So we're learning and growing through our lives. If you have a good mental health, and your well-being is at a good level, then you're constantly open and able to learn and grow throughout your lives. So we're changing, we are adapting to the new situations, we're learning new ways to deal with the situations effectively, and that's how we stay in a good mental health. You can check with yourself if those aspects are for you at a satisfying level. Maybe some of you might feel that there's something going on there, and that might be one of the reasons why you would like to reach out for help and support of Poradnia Internetowa. And when you look at the mental health, actually, there are many also factors that contribute to your mental health and mental well-being. It's not always only up to us, because the biology, for example, plays a big role in our well-being. So maybe because of some genes or hormones, some people might not be able to experience such a happiness or fulfillment as other people, or maybe they're more subjected to like mood swings or depression. It might be because of the cortisol, that's a hormone of stress, or maybe to lack of oxytocin, that's hormone of feeling happy and close with other people. So that's why we also sometimes need to reach out to pharmacology treatment to balance those hormones and to try basically impact something that's more difficult just to improve through the conversation or just a therapy. And then we have our life experiences. So it might be the environment that's surrounding us, or maybe the way of upbringing, our experiences as children or adolescents. And those life experiences are also impacting the mental health condition that we are experiencing nowadays. So this is the aspect that we are very focused in therapy, to sometimes change the way we're looking at those life experiences, to try to learn from it or see the meaning of those situations, but also to look at the environment that you currently have and maybe make some changes here, or just change the way you are acting within this environment. So I would say we cannot change the past, but we can focus on the now, and we can change the future itself. So very, more sense of impact you might feel maybe in this area. And then it's a family history as well. So what kind of disorders maybe were observed or diagnosed within the family members? We know through the researches that if there is a history, for example, of different mental health conditions within the family, that means that people are more subjected to those mental health conditions. And maybe we need to be more focused on prevention and taking care of our mental health to avoid this situation, to avoid to be another person who is impacted by that. It's not determination. It doesn't mean that you are going to have problems just because your grandparents or your parents had some difficulties, but we have to be aware and just treat it as a more sensitive topic and really focus on the prevention to avoid those situations. So what can we support? We're, very often thinking, and I was speaking a little bit more maybe about our mental health conditions, like, maybe an anxiety or depression when we're looking at the statistics. And you might be thinking, okay, I need to go to the specialist only when I have a big problem, only when I really feel very down and I cannot, deal with the situation. That's the moment. But it's not. It's really not. And that's why I'd like to introduce, and maybe you know it already, the Maslow pyramid here to show you, as human beings, how many different needs we have. And some of those might be impacted by difficult mental health conditions, but it's not the only reason why we reach out to Poradnia Internetowa or any psychologist or psychotherapist. So when you look at the very bottom of the pyramid, there are some psychological needs, physiological needs, like our need for food, our need for water, for feeling warm, for rest. And it's the basic need. If we don't have fulfilled this need, we can naturally go up and think of a different needs. So when you're hungry, the first thing is really, okay, I need to eat. Once you're fulfilled with some good food, you can start to think about, other needs. And this is also the reason why maybe you can reach out to the specialist, because nowadays we have many people who have problem with sleeping. So we already know that there are many distractors that are impacting our functionality, and this might impact, for example, insomnia or difficulties with falling asleep. So this is one of the reasons why we have clients who would just contact a psychotherapist and look at this area and try to take care of that. There are ways to take care of this difficulty. Maybe it's a difficulty of feeling very unstable from financial reason. We are thinking that we don't have, food or home to live in because we are in such a difficult financial situation we're facing. This is also another reason why you could think of reaching out to the professional and talk about even those basic needs that are unfulfilled, how to take care of that. And then going more up, we have a safety needs. Security, safety, that's something as a human beings we need to take care of. So again, financial situations, but also the pandemic is now a situation that might make us feel more insecure. We're not sure if we're going to be healthy. We're not sure if our close ones are going to stay healthy or might be not impacted by some kind of like diseases or maybe difficult financial situations or just, any kind of situations that make us feel insecure. And an anxiety, which I was talking about, which is a big problem nowadays, is one of the effects of feeling unsafe. So if you suffer, if you experience fear or an anxiety very often, and you need to feel more secure, this is, one of the very good reasons to reach out for professional help. And then if we feel secure, if we have our physiological needs fulfilled, we can think about belongingness and love needs, right? So we're, as a human beings, again, we are born to build relationships and stay in the relationships like partnership, but also like circle of friends, family life, or even relationships at work are so important. So how to build intimate relationships, how to build friendships, how to feel that we're belonging to the circle of people. This is, again, a topic that many of us might struggle with. Maybe we cannot build or find this one person, or maybe we are just going through some crisis in the relationship, or our life at work is not as effective, efficient as we would like to have in terms of working with our colleagues, managers, etc. So many people are actually reaching out for support, for professional help, and for therapy with those topics because they would like their relationships to improve. And when they are in a good condition, then we are moving even more up, and we are thinking about esteem needs, our prestige and feeling of accomplishment. There's a lot of, I would say, area of work here. We have many people who are reaching out, for example, because they would like to feel more self-confident when it comes to public speaking, or when it comes to just self-confidence itself, when they build relationships or where they feel good with themselves. So we're all, here to actually feel have this self-esteem, and it might be a good reason for again reaching out for help if we are not feeling that self-confident, or maybe you would like to build a little bit more of happiness and fulfillment of your own life, your own personality. It's a great way to contact us. And then at the very top, we have a self-actualization. This is, achieving one's full potential, including also creative activities. And I would say that the self-fulfillment needs are very often supported by coaching, because we are more focused on the values that we have in life. We're focused on different areas. It doesn't have to be family life or work life, but it might be spirituality, contact with nature, our hobbies, our ways of, what we're doing to actually have this sense of life and to feel fulfilled, or maybe contribute to the society, because we have so many needs fulfilled that eventually we want to do even more for the for other people, for the society. So we have professionals who are also working with this part of our needs and can help you just to feel more fulfilled with life, have a meaning in life, and work on this, I would say, more positive maybe aspects to even grow more. So this is, as you see, a big variety of topics, and there's a big variety of needs as we have as a human beings. So you can, think of something at this point in your life, what you might need help with, what you might need support with. Maybe there is a need that's unfulfilled, and there's a right moment. There might be a right moment to reach out to us and think, okay, what can I do for myself to take care of that? So how we do it, how you can do it together with us, I would say there are two important aspects. One is prevention and one is treatment. We're always thinking about prevention first, because the more focused we are on the prevention, the bigger chance that we don't have to ever focus on the treatment. And that's why we have today's webinar. Education is the most basic thing what you can do. So listen to the webinars like this one, but also read, talk with people, learn from other people, and just be aware of those topics to educate yourself. What are the good ways for you to focus on your well-being? Then the very simple thing is basically the balance between activities and rest. We're very often focused on activities nowadays, but our neurotic system is built for us to have both active state and the state of the rest, the state when we are doing nothing, when we're just resting, relaxing, sleeping. So the more you balance your neurotic system, the bigger chance that you don't have to reach out for professional help, because you just feel like there's a balance in your life. Unbalanced life very often lead to the treatment to worse mental health conditions. So think about how much balance is in your life. How much do you work? How much do you spend your time actively versus how much time do you spend just basically to rest and take care of yourself or of your different needs? Then we have a promotion of mental health. As employers, as people, we are able to promote and talk about mental health nowadays. It's the moment also to build this environment around yourself, to promote a very healthy ways of lifestyle, and to learn from others about how we can improve our lives and our well-being. So don't forget about the promotion. Share with people, learn from other people, and be open also to share your own experiences. And these are, of course, very few aspects of the prevention, but no matter what you do, if it's really focused on your good well-being, right now, it's the good prevention. If you are running, if you're reading about it, if you are just, trying to think positively and maybe, take care of your good diet, meditate, whatever it is that's working for you, it's the best way to prevent yourself. Sometimes we forget about it, and we need to learn from our lifestyle, and not in a good way. So in these moments, those moments, there might be a need to just focus on the treatment And what's really important here is the very early intervention. So the sooner we see some symptoms of something going on in our lives, maybe in lives of our close ones, the sooner we can act. And the sooner we can focus on the treatment. There will be different ways of treatment that we might need to apply. But if we act at the very early stage, there is always a bigger chance that this treatment will be effective and will be shorter and will have just less damage on the person. The longer we wait, unfortunately, the more difficult the situation becomes, and it might lead to very strong interventions. So I would say if you're seeing even a signs of something going on within your mental health or within the mental health of the close people to you, just start to talk about it and start to act as soon as you can. And what are those symptoms you might observe? Again, in yourself, or maybe there's a person in your surrounding that you see some symptoms and you might have those in a red light. Okay, I need to do something about it. There are just some of it, but very common one. It might be a major changes in eating habits. So the person might start to eat a lot and start to be overweighted, or maybe there's a loss of taste and loss of willingness to eat, and the person start to lose weight. So it might go both directions. It's withdrawal from friends and activities. So if you see someone maybe, or if yourself don't have any more willingness, to meet with people, to act normally. Some people are doing some sports or are going out, but all of a sudden they just staying home. They don't want to speak with anyone. That means that something might just going on, and there is a need for intervention. You might also observe it at work. For example, if some of your colleagues all of a sudden stop attending the meetings, or maybe during the meetings they stop to share their thoughts and talk, that might be a sign that something is basically going on. There is also a significant tiredness or low energy or problems with sleeping. So all of those, feeling no energy and tired or being not able to sleep might mean that there's something going on and we need to act. Confused thinking or reduced ability to concentrate. Again, that's very easy to observe at work when someone is just, working, but thinking about something else. And we're asking, hey, what's going on? And the person is not able to answer us. They're asking, oh, what did you ask about? I don't know. I don't hear. I'm not really present here because I'm all the time, my thoughts are somewhere else, or I'm not able to concentrate. Some very I'm less effective at work. I'm actually doing less work because it's this, our thoughts are just not working in the same way, I would say. So look at that very closely and just be aware. This is also a sign. Or extreme mood changes of highs and lows. Of course, it doesn't have to be depression. It doesn't have to be all the time feeling of sadness or fear, but it might be also extreme feelings of being over, reacting, angry, or maybe happy all the time, but then all of a sudden feeling like our energy is really low. So the more extreme mood changes you can observe, unfortunately, the bigger chance it is that there's something going on, and again, we need to take care of us. So finally, we can speak about how we are doing it, how we in Poradnia Internetowa are doing it and helping our clients with those difficult states, but also remember with the states that are also focused on feel of need of fulfillment or growth. There are different types of support. First of all, we provide, and we have most of all psychologists and psychotherapists that are working in Poradnia, but we also have coaches, dietitians, and other professionals. The type of support we provide, it's first of all psychological consultation. And we need to remember also that the consultation is actually the first step, always to contact a professional. Why? Because first of all, we need to understand what's the problem. We cannot start acting until we understand what the patient is struggling with, what the person needs to focus or wants to focus on. So we are just talking to understand the problem, understand the issue, the challenge, and the first meeting or few meetings might be just the consultation, based on which we might provide a psychological diagnosis. So basically, provide information about the potential reason of the situation, if it's the real problem, if it's the real challenge, what should we focus on, but also what's the recommendation for the next steps. So that happens as the second step, the diagnosis and the recommendation. Then we can decide on different ways together, of course. One of the approaches we provide is psychoeducation. So there might be, some meetings when we're providing information and we educate a person about most effective ways to deal with some situation, or what someone should focus on, or just basically explain how things are working and what's the best practice for the person. We also might decide on the therapy. There are two different ways. Psychological therapy is provided by psychologists, while psychotherapy is provided by psychotherapists. So a person may be a slight different, but it's important because a psychotherapist is a person who is certified, who went through the special school, the special certification was obtained, and that only person can provide the psychotherapy sessions. And a psychologist can provide psychological therapy. But both approaches are going much deeper than, for example, psychoeducation. So it's more of the functional change for a person who is participating in the therapy. That means that we're addressing a lot of questions like, why did it happen? We're, of course, looking at the past experiences as well. We're trying to understand when the problem comes from, to also change the ways of thinking, feeling, sometimes behaving. And it's a more long-term therapy, but very often it's really effective because the changes are deeper, at the deeper level, and they are impacting a lot of areas in our life. So if we decide together with a specialist that we would like to focus on the therapy, that's one of the possibilities, and it's again more functional change. While psychoeducation, or just meeting with a psychologist or dietitian, might be more of the structural change. So thinking about our habits, how we act, maybe not going very deep into the reasons of the behaviors or situations, but just focus on what's the best practice, what's the best way to deal with the situation right now, taking the certain steps and moving forward. I would say it depends, of course, on the topic, on the team that we're coming with, and if it's sometimes a big issue or challenge we're struggling in life, psychotherapy might be the best way to start. While some other are just crises in life, and we just need some information or some support, short-term support to move forward. So that will depend on the person, and that's always again diagnosed and recommended after the first consultation. And type of support we provide for business as well, because that's really important that we also have business specialists, is a psychological consultation. So again, the same, but in the area of work. The first meeting is the consultation. We might choose coaching. So for example, work more on the goals, on the future, on how we would like to, change our situation at work and grow more. We might focus on professional development. So how we could like to grow at work, what kind of goals again we would like to set up at work, and then take certain steps to achieve it. But also skill diagnosis and development. So what kind of skills do I have? Do I need to grow, develop other skills? This diagnosis is sometimes really important for a person to choose the best professional way, because very often we are choosing professions that are not always matched with our potential and abilities. So I would say that in our work life, this topic is very common to understand what potential, what skills I have, and how I can develop them further, and what maybe other new skills I might also focus on and grow. And then finally, we have training. We also provide training as part of our business focus and area. So those are, some of the professionals. I mentioned about psychologists, psychotherapists. I mentioned about coaches that are working in our poradnia internetowa, but also we have, for example, psychodietitians, and it's a very common now area for employees to look at their diet, to plan together how they can improve the diet or their lifestyle, to be more healthy in their body, in their diet, in their life, and we can provide this kind of support, but also support for parents, and support for families, for couples. So depending on the area, you can look at different professionals that can have a very big scope of supports they can provide to you. And then the final slide. So how to start, really, what you can do as the first step. I would say, once you know your needs, once you can initially diagnose yourself, think, okay, maybe there's this area I would like to improve in my life. Maybe it's the relationships, maybe it's my professional life, maybe I really suffer from something more difficult, like my emotions I cannot manage with. Take the first step and just get familiar with the specialists we have. As I mentioned, we have a big variety of specialists on our website of poradniainternetowa.pl. You can find their whole description. You can find both business specialists and other professionals. All of them, they have a description in terms of what kind of clients they are working with, what kind of support they provide, what kind of maybe approach they work in. Like you might have different even approaches within psychotherapy, and what kind of problems basically they can help you with. So you will have all this description on our website. And once you find the matching between your issue or your topic and the specialist, then you can basically make an appointment for a psychological consultation. So remember, that's the first meeting. That's for both of you, for the specialist to understand what you're coming from with, and for you to really see if there is a good vibe, a good understanding between you and the specialist. So if you feel like there's a match, there's a click, and you would like to also work further with the specialist, you can. But it's important to have this first meeting to understand and get familiar with each other and with this topic that's important to you. You will receive initial diagnosis after this meeting and recommendation on the next steps. This is something for you to digest, to think of, to think if you would like to continue either the treatment or just the meetings, if it's a short term or long term. So all of that, you will be able to answer after the first meeting or first few meetings. And then based on that, you can make a decision about further treatment and support. So you might decide that you would like to continue meeting the same person, maybe for the psychotherapy, maybe just a few meetings to focus on going through the crisis, or just getting ways and steps to work further yourself on this area. There are many ways how you can take care of that topic, but you will be able to basically answer that once you have that initial consultation and diagnosis of a specialist. So making decision is the last step, and then, well, then you have to see what are the effects of that. And my hope is that there will be always improved well-being state, and your mental health will become even better after those meetings. This is my experience, and this is experience of my colleagues, that if it's maybe just a consultation or a therapy, it really brings change to our life, and it's really worth. So remember, you're also a promoter of this mental health in your life, in within your social life. So the more you do for yourself, I believe it also impacts the society and your close ones. So I encourage you to contact us, to contact Poradnia, and to take best care of yourself and to benefit from what we are providing to you. Try it, and then you will be able to experience yourself if it's working or not. But it doesn't matter what steps you take. Just really encourage you at the very end to remember about your mental health and take care of your well-being. There's always a way for you to do something for yourself, and it's worth to just stay more happy, fulfilled, and satisfied from your life, and it's possible. So thank you very much, and best of luck to you. And I hope we can somehow meet in Poradnia Internetowa. Have a good day, and thank you again.